Hello guys, Agurin is cooking something new, so he's playing the new rune, Storm Raider Search for Mobility and Anti-Slow, notably Nimbus Cloak for even more speed, Transcendence, Water Walking, so it seems like he is using Oracle for now to actually pick out this ward as fast as possible. You even have to use your W to actually clear it out in time. And what's really interesting guys is that now they don't have like full vision on reps, and he has Alacrity, cut down, generic stuff, attack speed shard, ability power, scaling HP. And as you guys can see, he does red, but what's really interesting, he min-maxes his clear out super well, so it does actually W the next camp, which means that he can clear these out as efficiently as possible. And as far as you guys notice, like clearing, having a fast clear speed means that you're gonna have faster agency over the map. You're gonna get your level 3 faster, which means that you're more likely to get ganks off that might be normally unexpected. And as we can see, he just continues his clear, basic attacks the small one, Ws, and commits to like hit mainly the big raptor, and then he can finish the rest of the small ones off as fast as possible. Qs on the other small ones, so he does actually split up his basic attacks, his abilities super well. And as for now, he does commit for, let's see, up 2 points in Q actually, if you can see, no E points. Now, if anything, you can actually even ping it to your teammates, which means that they shouldn't go for some heavy fights, because you simply cannot be around, because you locked yourself into a full clear situation, just because we don't have a point in E. So that, generally speaking, means that you wanna just get your level 4, then you wanna look to gank. Now, in higher ranks, people may actually understand what does it mean if Elise didn't skill her E, of course, but in lower ranks it may not do anything, so up to you if you want to ping it, right? Now, what's really important to understand, he is actually patting bot lane, because early on Ambessa doesn't have like any good gank setup, so mainly like what he has to rely on Blitz hitting his Q, or perhaps using flash W EQ, then she can follow it up. But for now, it seems like Blitz doesn't really have actually, he doesn't really have actually a way of flashing in. So it's a bit of a bummer. We spot the Jayce, but does he commit? He does commit. Do we win this? Phase Rush is not proc yet, unfortunately. He actually just full sends it. He full sends it, so he gets a flash for flash here. But do we get out of here? Maybe presses R so he cannot be hooked. He does get caught, unfortunately. For the first time in the world, we could say that Agurin actually flipped this, because, particularly he didn't have actually follow-up. He didn't have proper priorities. So that's the reason why he could get collapsed on after like the Jayce fight. Which I would definitely say, I think this is the... It's really like a very rare occasion where you see 1% of the times where Agurin actually flips an invade. He did get Jayce's flash, but not a kill in particular, and then the problem is the fight extended too much and they collapsed on him, right? So in particularly that's what actually sucked. So let's see, what did he recall on though? Blasting one, interesting, okay. Replace very consistently, very proactively in general. Okay. If you guys notice, he just hits each of those small ones, right? He's really good at kiting out the camps, because every time he's about to expire, it just doesn't expire and he dies, just because that's how he optimized his jungle clear, which, you could notably actually do that in the practice too. So you could like do a full clear. If it's not in time, if you did not do it correctly, you could restart it, and that way you can like practice over and over and over your clear. Now let's see what's going on the bot departments. They are all in the Senna pretty hard. Does she die though? They don't find lethal damage, but he has to observe if Senna is still greeting, and it does seem like for now she does overstay. She does overstay, and he's looking to punish that mainly. But does press Oracle against Swords, and maybe he will look for an opportunity. Does look like Jayce is like hanging around though. I think he's looking for a quick steal, no? Oh my god, that Rush Hook was really... No, it seems like he might be flipping here actually. Which is really rare, because you don't really see Agurin doing this, but unfortunately he got hooked, so he didn't have the best positioning into the trash hook. But that was a good prediction. That was a good hit actually from Trash's part. That was a really good Q actually. But the problem is Blitz was like one basic attack away from dying, and Tristana had cooldowns as well, so this looks really bad actually. Because it's still, even if he steals like Krugs, it could be still potentially like... Yeah, that's not really worth. That's not really... Senna also gets her stacks, right? So it's really bad. It's really bad actually to flip this hard for Krugs. Yeah, it sucks a little bit, but you know, let's see how does he recover from like a bad early game, because you know, being good at the game also means that you are really good at playing from behind, even though like the mistakes weren't even like from your teammates' part, it was from your part. So this is the moment where you actually like have to drop your ego and just start to play more and more consistently, otherwise you're gonna fall more and more behind. Probably he was like tired at this point. I would highly assume he was really tired or really pissed off or something, because I just use this easy to basically aggro the camp to finish it off faster. That's the idea. You don't really deal damage with your eat into Krugs, but it's really good to you know, use it against it. Now, in case you're smelling an invade, you could arguably hold it, right, against a potential invader. But, you know, usually you just kind of like could use it to aggro them. He continues his clears, and, you know, there are no particular opportunities mid-top because all of them are quite full in HP. I would say now that Cinder traded a little bit, she has her or she may look for something soon, Agurin. Does seem like only Blitzcrank shows up, connects his E, hits his hook. Oh, it's really weird when they pull someone out actually, huh? Of Cinder's skill shot, it's a bit hard to like coordinate that, huh? That's fine. Now, what can we do with this phase? I mean, it's not called phasers these days. It's called Storm Raider Search, huh? Let's see what can that Storm Raiders do. So far it wasn't, it was procced actually one time. It was procced one time. Does seem like he secures his rig because, you know, he did have mid priority and his bot also rotated in time, so this wasn't like flipped at all. This is where you can detect the more consistent and the less consistent Drake timers. He does use his W, I mean his E against like Victor's W, so that way he can, he would like to invade here, but it seems like Blitz is low on resources. But as far as we noticed, Jayce did walk upwards on vision, but he could walk downwards, just and he just might be mind gaming it. Now seemingly just went Grubs. Okay. He pinged the Blitzcrank to come, so it wasn't like that inconsistent in this situation. Despite of Blitz being a little bit low, he did have Aftershock against their burst, so perhaps it could cook. It does seem like he's giving up Grubs, but remember guys, next patch Grubs will be higher value, so they will deal more damage and the Grubs will be able to tank more, so they will have way more pushing power, just saying. So Grubs might be really higher on value next patch, so watch out on that, 100%. I'm getting dehydrated from talking too much, that's what I noticed, that's why I have a glass of water. Any opportunities mid-top Jayce. Jayce walks back into his jungle and he continues his clear, right? He does continue his clear in particular. Opa. He continues his clear, but he's kiting really fast towards bot lane seemingly, He's revealed by Twisted Fate, so I don't assume he could get anything particularly off at this point. Not particularly. You know, that's crazy because, like, for now, he did actually, like, recover quite nicely. In terms of CS wise, he's also, like, more ahead over Jayce. Which I think is really a big deal. I would highly assume he will try a bot gank, because for now he doesn't have any camps. But it seems like he prefers to recal for some apparent reason. He does recal for his item. Lich Bane. Now, Lich Bane got recently buffed, which is seen to be a good item on Elise, even though your abilities are not the most spammy, as you guys can see. She can still get reliable procs of this Lich Bane. And you know, guys, the cool part is that it does give you basically a little attack speed, which is really good at, like, getting wards out with your W and with Lich Bane's attack speed bonus once you use your Oracle. So he just commits for this Twisted Fate, gets his basic attack Lich Bane off, uses his E to dodge his gold card, so everything is played out super smoothly. Because there's like a big wave here, he's also picking up the big wave, and this Twisted Fate got absolutely annihilated there. So definitely Elise is really good at playing around Twisted Fate, his gold card. He's really good at, like, setting up an engage into him. He got, I believe he got 2 Lich Bane procs there, right? Only one, really. That's crazy. I assume, like, she got 2 at least, but that's fine. That's fine. Lich Bane is also, like, super good on Elise because it provides you mobility, actually. The speed itself, 100 ability power, speed, haste. Like, the speed is really nice as a stat on Elise, and I assume maybe that's the idea behind, like, Storm Raider Surge. Maybe he values to stack a lot of mobility on this champion, because after all, you are really difficult to be caught. That's the thing. You are really difficult to be caught, so that takes away one of the weak points of Elise, which is potentially getting caught in a awkward situation. So that's what it also helps to play around. Think about it, the faster you are, the more likely you're also gonna hit, like, a you know, Rappel, which just kinda helps you to get a nice gank off, if it makes sense. Seems like he's actually quite a lot playing around bot lane, and mainly because Tristana is one of their win condition, and Blitzcrank's gank setup is really solid. So so it seems that bot gets prio at least, but mid doesn't really. But I assume he will, like, upfront start it. It does upfront start it. Twisted Fate only Arch top lane, so this Zambesa might be cooked actually. She is really behind. Holy, this Twisted Fate is cooking. Now we are getting this nice Drake. This Drake is usually way better early on, but it still can be useful even now. In the early game, it's really OP to have it. Let's see. Does the Spider form also give a Lich Bane proc by chance? Not really. But it can be useful. So what are we cooking, gang? A Senna gank. Whoa, my god. That's a that's the fastest spider I ever seen. This is where the mobility can really shine, huh? That's crazy. So what are we going for next? Shadowflame, I assume. Let's see. Boots and Shadowflame. Oh, that's okay. That's really strong, by the way. You can really easily, like, one stun and full combo a squishy target, and you know, then she will be able to just absolutely obliterate them. You can just walk through the tower just like that, guys, and just use his E as fast as possible into TF before he. But sadly, the TF did actually get out there, so that got a little bit unfortunate, definitely. What's cool, I guess, is that at least he got his TP, so we'll have less threat for. This TP, by the way, has 7 minutes of cooldown, so it's pretty long actually. Jayce seemingly can't do anything against Elise. By the way, Elise's stun is a bit crazy because you know, once you max it out, this will stun for 2.4 seconds actually. Pretty high actually. Huh? Plays a bit better around mercs as well. But she has a good amount of CC from her teammates, so that also kind of like helps to set up your E, right, your Cocoon, or vice versa, you set up your teammates. Oh, I just full sense it. Only E's when it's good. Oh my god. That's so well played actually. So you're only gonna actually recast his E once his barrier is about to expire, so you can just last hit him, playing around the gold card as well, because if he does not play it out perfectly, Twisted Fate would hit his gold card and then you're dead actually. Then you're actually dead because this guy maxed out his W. He has insane amount of DPS if you just look at his items, so he would just die. So if he doesn't place it out every single detail perfectly, he just dies. He just dies. Same as earlier on, so it's really interesting how he min-maxes it out, right? He even uses his E, which most of the Elise players don't do, but he even uses his E against Krugs, just to like aggro them, and so they're a little bit closer to clear them as fast as possible. He leaves his passive to do the dirty work. I really said that, right? I thought he will go Axiom Arcanist at the beginning, but I think it doesn't interact in any ways with like her aura, right? So, like, I guess she has spiderlings from her aura, if anything, but I'm not sure if it interacts with any of those actually, so I'm not gonna say anything about it, just an idea, guys. Just an idea out there. Punishes the Twisted Fate, but does he have time to punish the Twisted Fate? He does have the most amount of time. He plays it out safely though, okay. Commits for the next kill. Remember guys, only the spider is safe in her own web. 12% current health damage, so she's not that bad into tanks actually. She has some like, I guess it's only her Q actually, but she has some nice damage actually. And mind you, both are point and click. Not that she's like an anti-tank, you know, per se, but her Q does a nice amount of damage into a tank, right? Venomous Bite will apply on-hit effects once to the target. So basically it's Lich Bane that's being procced, huh? Damn, Alice's abilities are really interestingly designed. Because even to like 2026 standards, they are pretty good actually. With some minor adjustments from the past, of course, but you know, Alice's get really this like kind of like complex human spider form. You got to juggle in between these forms, get the best ability off in the right situation, type of thing. And Baron is really good, by the way, to clear it as Elise, because your spiderlings are genuinely tanking the Baron's gaze, which normally reduces your damage by 50%, but because your pets are getting tagged and not you, then not only that they will tank, but they will also increase your damage, if it makes sense, by tanking Baron's Gaze, which normally reduces 50% of your damage. So we have Shadowflame, Jayce, so we really did recover. I think what really went off the early game was a bit messy. I think he just goes for the wave, gets his 16. Now does Elise's 16, is it scary? Is it scary? So she gets some extra stats on her, spiderlings mainly, bonus damage, more resistances. I assume it does something. She gets an extra spiderling as well, not only damage, so she's gonna have 5. So that's like a good amount of DPS she's like racking up. He commits into a split push actually, because it does seem like most of the times the enemies are on the other side of the map. And Elise, dude, Elise is maybe not even that bad at pushing towers. Look at the attack speed you get, that's crazy actually. That's crazy amount of like DPS you can dish out, and this ability is really quickly up as well of cooldown, so there's only like a very little amount of downtime where you cannot utilize the bonus attack speed actually. So she's really she's underratedly fast at pushing right towers. Spiderlings benefiting from the attack speed, like super nice. It's kind of crazy that this can like increase the damage by 100% actually. So that's always interesting. It can increase 100%. Upon descending, increase the bonus damage and healing from Spider Queen. So that's really interesting. They have really high game more in the late game actually. This Spiderlings 110. So red games doesn't want it to attempt to be wiped by any chance. %19 damage. Not even bad. His missing health ability is always like deal quite a lot actually. I think he's just still hunting for certainly there are some things that they're looking for but they can't find them. Interesting. Wow, just the speed is really obnoxious, to deal with. I think he just W reveals the bush, uses her R to actually deal with the gold card. I think he's out. It seems like he was baiting really hard, and he still has flash up while he does all of this. Yeah, I think soon he will go Drake, but seems like he just wants to like take bush priority for now and see if he can like take an opportunity to get a kill before he takes the Drake or potentially the red. It seems like he does want to commit, but he gives it up because first of all he just wants to finish the red, then dip, because very likely they could rotate on her at this point. We are getting soul, by the way. We are actually getting soul. This one is kinda cooked. You know what's good about Elise now? So basically, you can hit your W more consistently than an E, but because that W applies the slow from the Hextech Dragon Soul, which by the way lingers for longer on range targets, dude, it's way easier to hit your E. And once you hit your E, that's gonna be just a guaranteed kill. So, mind you, even though it doesn't deal more damage than a, than a really nice, Infernal Drake, it does set up multiple lethal skill shots like Elise Q, her E, perhaps Syndra's QE, so you can kinda like, even Ambassador actually, even Ambassador. So you can kinda like see that this slow actually sets up many lethal abilities super well. So in this game, you would even more likely take this Hextech Drake if you had the option over an Infernal one. Really oppressive, really oppressive. It seems like it's a GG well played. It is a GG well played. GG well played. And I hope you guys learned something new. See you guys in the next video.